Hello everyone, FragranceMatt here, and welcome to another video once again on my channel. This is coming to you guys from the series of me behind the camera reviewing some of the fragrances in my collection. And this one is one of my favorites, and this is one of my favorite aromatic fougères without a doubt. And it's a fragrance that I've had in my collection for about a year now. And I just absolutely love this fragrance. I've owned several bottles of this over the years, but as you guys can see or may not notice, this is an older bottle here of Cerutti 1881 Pour Homme. A lot of people pronounce this differently, but yeah, this is my review for this really brilliant aromatic fougère that was launched way back in 1990. Now, this fragrance was created by a brilliant perfumer, a perfumer who I consider an absolute genius. The perfumer's name is Martin Gras, and this guy has been around the block. He's created some of my favorite fragrances that I love and cherish. One of my favorites being Lepidus Pour Homme from 1987. Although that fragrance is a spicy oriental scent. This one has like woody scents in there. It has some pine. It has some like really natural smells in this scent that really does evoke what was apparently in 1990 the Mediterranean. That was the theme for this fragrance. That was what Nino Cerutti wanted to bring forward for this fragrance. And I think he did a good job considering, you know, aquatic fragrances weren't really big at the time. And, you know, whenever somebody comes to you and says, right, I want to create a fragrance based on the Mediterranean, well, nowadays you would basically choose maybe an aquatic scent and add some fruits in there and whatnot and some salty notes and whatnot. This fragrance has none of that. This fragrance is spicy, woody, fresh, perfect scent for personally when you get out of the shower. It's one of those fragrances. Although, because I say that, I don't mean it in the sense of it being like a cheap fragrance. Because usually with cheap fragrances, we like to put them on after the shower and, you know, just smell fresh. This one you can wear, of course, any time. This is a very formal scent, very bombastic fragrance, a very strong scent. Especially this bottle that I own, it's really strong. Like I said, I've owned the bottle of nowadays, today's version, and it's decent, although it doesn't have that potency behind it. And now when you get maybe about 4 to 5 hours longevity, out of this I get quite a lot, but I'll talk about that, of course, when we talk about the longevity and whatnot. So, yeah, what else to really talk about with this gem? Well, let's get into the notes. So, straight away, very strong, very spicy, very fresh, beautiful opening. It has this very strong Italian smell to it as well. And I don't really know how to describe an Italian smell. All I know is that when I smell this, I feel like you can just tell that this fragrance is inspired by Italy. And I think just everything to do with the bottle design here, you know, it really captivates this sort of like stone built, or maybe it's not stone, maybe it's meant to be in a tree. Because I remember seeing a commercial for this fragrance, and the fragrance seemed to be coming out of a tree. I get, basically, straight away, I get a little bit of a refreshing citrus, a little bit of a bergamot in there, but it's not completely like a juicy bergamot, nor is it really refreshing. It's more in the sense of it being like, okay, there's a citrus here. You can tell it's a citrus, but it's going to fade. And that's basically what happens is with this fragrance is when you get the citruses, they start to fade quite rapidly, and what you're left with is a powdery scent, like a powdery, woody, soapy kind of fragrance. I personally get a lot of lavender. Yeah, I personally get a lot of lavender with this. There's a little bit of vetiver there, a little bit of carnation. And apparently we're supposed to have elemi resin in this fragrance, nor do I really get anything resinous out of this fragrance. There's some oak moss, like a pine kind of smell, but more than anything I do get like a juniper, a very nice sharp juniper, which creates this sharpness with the fragrance. So it's like a sharp scent with that juniper, and then underneath you've got like this soft, clean, fir needle, mossy undertone with a little bit of lavender. That's literally what I get with this, and it just smells really, really, really nice. Very elegant. I wouldn't say it was casual. This is definitely a formal scent. Could be considered dated to a lot of people. I personally think that's bullshit. In all fairness, it depends on how you pull it off. I think 1881 is a fragrance that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to a first, like somebody who's really getting into fragrances for the first time. I wouldn't recommend it. Even the version of today, I just think it's a bit too. I think it's got too much depth to it, and I think it might not get appreciated because again, 1990 was a long, long time ago, guys. To me, it's timeless, but we also have to live with the fact that there are people out there who would consider this old-fashioned or old-manish or whatever. I personally don't think of it as that way at all. I think it's really, really quite something that's juice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. The 1881 stands for, that was the year that Nino Cerutti's grandfather opened up the shop where they sold watches and jewellery. I believe it was in Italy. I believe it was in Rome. But correct me if I am wrong. I'm probably wrong on all of it, but I'm pretty sure that's why this fragrance is called 1881. Interestingly, it's a cool name in my opinion, though. I really do like it. There is also a very strong element of barbershop influence in this fragrance. I think that's due to the fact that we have a lot of vetiver in this fragrance. A bit of that lavender creating like a barbershop kind of fragrance. A scent that you would imagine being in a barbershop if you really imagined while you're putting your nose to it. Other fragrances in this category include Boucheron Pour Homme, which this one gets compared to. I personally don't think this one smells anything like Boucheron Pour Homme. That one has a lot of lemon notes in it. It has like lemon verbena. A Sicilian lemon is also in there, I believe. So it's very citrus dominant. This one isn't necessarily a citrus fragrance. It's aromatic. So there's a lot of those earthy tones in this fragrance, which makes it totally a timeless fragrance. And there's really nothing like it out there. This is easily, in my opinion, one of the best aromatic fougères out there. There's a lot of fragrances in this line. There's basically, I think there must be about 8 or 9 at least. I own about 4 or 5. I own this one. I own Amber, the black version, and I also own a summer version as well of this, which is just phenomenal. So personally, I've tried my best to collect a lot of the flankers over the years, but I just think a lot of them fall flat, and they don't really do justice, and they personally shouldn't really have the 1881 name. I think they're all just money grabbing releases, in my opinion. If you want a solid fragrance, something that smells like no other, something that wasn't made, poorly, it was made with love, this is a fragrance that you really do need to check out. I think a lot of people, especially my age, in their 20s, coming up 30, would really like this. It's just good, and I don't like to compare old fragrances with new, but if you're into the guy who wears a lot of newer releases, like, I don't know, it could be Invictus, Armani Co, or any fragrance. I know I always say those two, but those two just happen to be very popular. If you're a very modern guy, but personally, give this one a try. See what you think. You might happen to really, really like it. I mean, this was love at first sniff for me. It really was, and I just had to get like an older bottle of this because it really is just phenomenal stuff. Like, there's really no words to describe how good this stuff is. Cerutti 1881 Pour Homme, or Cerutti 1881, however you want to pronounce it. Forgive me, I'm terrible when it comes to pronunciating names and stuff. I'm a bit dumb when it comes to stuff like that, so forgive me. So yeah, as the fragrance is drying down now, I mean, it's kind of drying down, it's still kind of oily on my skin, which again is a sign of good quality. We also get apparently ylang ylang in this fragrance, which in all honesty, I don't get. And I like the note of ylang ylang. I think it's a nice floral. It's a different type of floral. You basically get it in a lot of older fragrances. And this one is apparently no exception, but I don't really smell it. And it's the same with other notes like the musk, the black pepper, the lily, the basil. I don't really get any of those notes. Personally, what I get out of this is a lavender, oak moss, vetiver mix with slight bergamot in the beginning. Not citrusy, nor is it really stand out-ish. You can just tell it's there, and then it fades like after a minute. And then you're left with this soapy type of scent, which just smells divine. And again, if there's anyone out there who's looking for a really unique scent, you just need to check out this one. I'm going to stop this review now because I feel like I could really talk about this masterpiece all day, but I'm not going to. I'm going to get on with the next review. And I do hope you guys have enjoyed this review for Cerutti 1881 Pour Homme by Nino Cerutti. A fantastic scent. Now let's get to the ratings. Now the bottle design for this, I'm going to give this bottle design a 10 out of 10. I think it's a stunning bottle. How it's kind of like frosted on the front and how it's normal there, and you can see like the amber coloured juice in the middle there. Okay, that looks pretty trippy. But yeah, it's a absolutely stunning bottle. I really love it. Really love it. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. The scent definitely would put a lot of newer releases to shame, but that's just me being me. I mean, I love my older scents, so, you know, I'm very biased when it comes to a lot of them. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for the smell. In terms of longevity, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. This bottle that I own here, with it being a vintage, it does last a little bit longer. In terms of the longevity, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So they're my ratings, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care of yourselves and stay tuned until the next video. We're going to be taking a look at a really, really good fragrance from the House of Carbon. Stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.